Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie. Today is time for another Herb of the Week video, and today I wanted to talk about mint. So I have several different kinds of mints growing in my garden, and I break a lot of the rules when it comes to mint. Now I live in Utah, zone 6/7, and mints do absolutely beautifully in our area. So let me show you the varieties that I have and talk to you about how I either contain them or don't contain them. Now I moderate several garden groups, and the consensus usually is when you hear posts about I want to plant mint is don't do it. It's Godzilla. It'll take over your world. It will eat all your children. And then only to plant it in pots and to be careful when you plant it in pots because it'll grow out the bottom and down the sides and root and take over everything. Well, I'm here to tell you there are ways to contain and not contain mint that are very helpful. Now, this area has had mint in it for many, many years. About 15, well, okay, it was 2008 is when I planted the mint in here. And it's been here since. It gets watered with lawn water 3 times a week. And the lawn water does hit the front, but it doesn't hit the back. And I want you to notice the difference. I purposefully don't water the back here to contain the spread of some of these plants. That area back there stays really dry. That hose right there is attached to my water line. So this hose does not water back here. But where it gets hit with lawn water, we've actually got mint growing. This is my favorite. This is chocolate mint. It gets sun in the morning and shade in the afternoons. This is the east side of my house. And it's underneath my serviceberry, along with my really, really old satellite dish that has never come out. I probably should remove that. But anyway, this mint does absolutely beautifully where it's moist, doesn't have a ton of competition. And then if it does come out below which sometimes it does, when it comes out below my bricks, it goes into the lawn, and this is where it gets mowed. And so then you get to smell mint. Now, if you don't want mint in your lawn, this is not a good way to contain it. But if you don't mind having mint in your lawn, it's a wonderful way to make mowing lawn a bigger pleasure. So chocolate mint is a really great mint. It's got a very dark, rich, I wouldn't say chocolate, but a really dark, rich mint scent. And I absolutely love it. When it flowers, it's got pink flowers. And if you don't want it to go to seed and mix with a bunch of other mints, if you have other mints, then cut it back as soon as it flowers. This right here is another favorite. This is pineapple mint. It actually does smell a little bit like pineapple with mint combined. It's got gorgeous variegated foliage, and it also grows the exact same as the chocolate mint. It does not seem to spread into areas where there is no water. We've got that mixed with lime balm, which is in the mint family, but we're not going to talk about lime balm and lemon balm yet. Those will be in a different video. But we've got pineapple mint that does really well. Another way to really contain the spread is to plant it in an area where the soil is a little lean. And by lean, I mean you're not adding compost, you're not adding a lot of fertilizer, and that also helps contain it. Now this is my spearmint. This is another area where I've had mint in it for like 15 years, 18 years, since 2008. And we've gone through various phases with it. We used to have lawn on this side of it. It was in just a planting bed with lawn on this side. And at that point, it was getting water with the lawn, and I would have to come through here 2 to 3 times a year. What I would do is I would take my shovel, and I would shovel around the edge, make just a small circle, pull out any of the runners that went outside that edge 2 or 3 times a year, and that's how I contained it, and it stayed in its spot beautifully. After a while, I didn't have to cut it back so much because I did have that trench that I had been digging around it. Now, when I switched this whole area out, took out all the grass, added my path and added my food forest, this went without water for almost I wouldn't say completely without water for a year, but greatly reduced water for about a year. And that nearly killed it. It died back to 1 sprig. And this is the 4th year since it's died back. I haven't had to cut it back since, but it looks like we're now about at the point where I'm going to have to start going around the edges and cutting around the edges. And that has been a beautiful way to contain it. Now, spearmint is one of my favorites. The way I love to use spearmint is I love to take it dice it up really thinly, and add it with sliced strawberries with a little bit of balsamic vinegar and a tiny bit of sugar. And that is one of the best flavors ever. Now this is the last type of mint that I have. This is a wild mint. I found it growing in planting beds around my, where I used to work. And it was doing beautifully with very little water, which made me a little nervous, but I thought that would be a fun one to grow, because I love the scent. The scent's kind of a different mix between regular mint and spearmint. So I pulled a sprig, brought it home, changed my mind, threw it in my compost bin, and this is where it's been ever since. It's been about 3 years. I am a little bit worried about it, because it could possibly start spreading. But for 3 years, it's just kind of stayed in this little patch right under the compost pile. I do throw these away when if they spread to the areas where I don't want them, because they seem to root really readily. But this is, I don't know what kind of mint it is. It seems like it might be just kind of a wild mint. Now, even after saying all that, and considering the way that I grow mint uncontained, I have been on properties when I owned my landscape maintenance company where the mint has run rampant. And generally speaking, those are properties where nothing is maintained, nobody's gone out and taken care of the mint. And I have seen them grow in areas where it seems like they haven't gotten a lot of water. So do be careful, judge your risk. But growing mint is very, very rewarding. It's absolutely wonderful to be able to go out and pick mint whenever you want. Now, another thing that I've done is I have taken mint from the outside, rooted it in a container, and grown it inside over the winter. Now, one caution with that is if I were to do that again, I would make sure to completely wash the soil off all of the roots and then dip the roots and the plant in an insecticidal soap, because I did introduce a bunch of pests into my grow room doing that. Mint, even though people say that it does repel insects, it does not repel them. That's kind of a myth that people have perpetuated. We had spider mites, we had thrips, we had all sorts of things on the mint plant indoors, which probably means that the mint was not extremely happy growing indoors. It did look beautiful, but I finally had to throw it away because it was so pest-ridden. So do be careful how you grow your mint, but don't be too careful. Enjoy it. It's an absolutely easy, wonderful, beautiful plant to grow. Now, just to make sure I didn't miss anything, mints love part shade. They love the morning sun and the afternoon shade. They love to have a lot of moisture, and they don't really truly need a ton of fertilizer or really rich soil to grow in. And I would love to hear what your favorite mint is. If you're growing mint, what ways do you contain it? Did you decide to get rid of it because it was too aggressive? Or do you love your mint like I love it? So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. If it has been helpful, I hope you like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and go have a